This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
My name's Kira, I'm 9 and I go to Catmas Primary.
How long have you been karting for?
3 years.
And speaking to you at Rhino's Gym in Stamford, how do you actually get fit for that? What sort of workout do you do?
Sometimes we do abs, arms and a little bit cardio.
How did you get into karting?
When I was younger I did quad biking and I got into it by my granddad because he did biking, but then my dad also gave me the choice of what sports or hobby I wanted in and I chose go-karting.
And whereabouts do you race?
The main track that I normally am racing at is Fullbeck and PFI. Them two are just like past Grantham.
And you're the only girl in your class, is that right?
Yes.
Do you have a kind of season? Do you go in for competitions and stuff?
Yeah, we go into competitions. I have a couple of trophies at home. One of them I didn't quite earn because my friend had a little bit of trouble with his engine.
So you were 6 when you started, you're 9 now. What's your eventual plan? What would you really like to do?
When I grow up I'll really want to be the first female to do Formula 1.
There have been one or two that have kind of tried, but no one who's won the championship that I can ever remember.
Maybe that may give me an advantage if I can push hard enough, if I do end up going into any of the F1s. But the one driver I would like to meet in Formula 1 is Daniel Ricciardo, because sometimes if he does end up crashing out, he's still a little bit happy.
And how does it feel when you're on those tight corners? I mean, there's quite a lot of force against even a kart, I imagine.
Yeah, just a little bit more like tense in my arms because I'm like pushing around the corner harder than I should. If I'm going left, I should push with my right arm. If I'm going right, I should push with my left arm. It'll get more power coming out the corner.
And what does it feel like, literally, when you're in a race?
A little bit nervous because I don't know what's going to happen, because you never know what's going to happen. Say if there's a spin that's behind me and I get caught with it and someone goes into me, or if it's in front of me I may get collected by the incident. So like when I'm on track I'm like, oh, what's going to happen next? Like the main thing I do feel is nervous because like if I haven't done it for a little while and we've just been on a little break, that it just feels like I just started it from like scratch, but I haven't, because like I know the overtaking moves.
And what do your friends think of what you do?
They think it's actually pretty cool.
And how do you fit it all in, and how do you think you're going to fit it in with like exams coming up and stuff like that?
With my exams I'm just thinking like, will I be tired to do karting or will I not be tired to do karting?
But when you're on the track, nothing else matters, I guess.
No.
Great to meet you, and, well, best of luck. I mean, who knows, in years to come, you could actually be on TV in the big races.
Yeah, that would be a big dream.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
So the sun is just about to rise in Uppingham. You can hear the Morris men in the background here. I'm here with Nick Kimberley, the Squire of Rutland Morris. How long do you reckon this has actually been happening here in Uppingham? I mean, the Morris men have been going for over 40 years, haven't they?
Yeah, I've been told that we've been dancing here outside the vaults in Uppingham Market Square for about 30 years. And before that, they used to dance in Preston for the dawn.
And this is the traditional kind of start of summer, the 1st of May. Never mind, the equinox and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, this is the traditional Morris. It's the beginning of the summer and the beginning of our season of dancing. So from now on, from May the 1st onwards, we'll dance out every Monday in and around Rutland at pubs and also villages that don't have pubs.
And you've got a tour coming up, actually. You're heading all the way to Albania.
Yes, we're going to Albania on the 9th of May and we're coming back on the 15th, and we've been invited to an international folk festival there, which is mostly sides from Eastern Europe, and we're the representatives of the UK and Rutland. So we'll be flying the flag
literally
from
flying the flag for the whole country from England's smallest county.
Yes.
So you're dancing all the way till 6 and then you get breakfast and you can have a rest.
Yes, we dance from 5:17 in the morning till 6 o'clock. Then we're going to go to the vaults and have a nice breakfast.
Great, Nick. Thanks very much for joining us here on the first day of summer.
Thank you.
Rutland Radio.
So it's been hearing this morning, Rutland Morris have been dawn dancing, as they always do on the 1st of May in Uppingham Market Square. I'm here with the new High Sheriff, Margaret Miles, who I think this is the first time I can ever remember a High Sheriff actually being invited to this. Is this your earliest engagement so far?
It is one of the first, and it's one of the earliest in the morning, I can say that for sure.
And actually just seeing this piece of the way that Rutland works, because Rutland Morris are at so many events, it's kind of part of our fabric here, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's part of our routine since 1973. They tell me they've been dancing. And I think it's some of the same guys who are still doing it, so that says something.
And I know you're also here for a presentation as well because of the festival that they're off to.
Yeah, these guys are off to Albania to represent not only Rutland but England with their dancing, so that's really exciting. So we're here, we're going to have a photograph which they're going to take out to Albania as part of a kind of goodwill gesture to them. So I think it might be the first time they see Morris dancers and a High Sheriff.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Yeah, David Craven. I'm a chief technician at RAF Bryce Norton, formerly of RAF Cottesmore, who initially instigated the putting up of the Spitfire Memorial.
And this was, from what I remember, to mark the 70th anniversary of Cottesmore coming into existence, wasn't it?
It was to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Battle of Britain, 1940 to 2010, when the actual memorial was put in place. I was part of a team from the then RAF Cottesmore who planted the bed and got in touch with Rutland Willows, who very kindly put together the Spitfire. But unfortunately, now it's fallen into a state of disrepair, and I'm just trying to get it back to how it used to be.
And no one seems to have that responsibility to maintain it. And I suppose from the other things which are around town, it's different. For instance, you know, the Osprey on the Burley Road roundabout is, from what I can tell, made of quite a hard wood. And then you've got the Peacock, the library, which is continually filled with flowers, and that's a metal structure. This being wicker, I suppose, is a bit exposed to the elements and just needs some maintenance every so often.
It does, yes. I mean, obviously the construction out of willow by Rutland Willows does have a life to it, and it has to be preserved. And on speaking to Rutland Willows, they initially every now and again went out and treated it to try and prolong its life, but it's something that needs to be maintained ad infinitum, if you like, and for whatever reason it has fallen, like I say, into disrepair, and looking pretty sorry for itself.
So you've got a crowdfunding page to actually encourage people who care about it being there and want it to be restored to their former glory to donate. How's that going so far?
We're looking for around about £1,000 target. I've obviously made a contribution as well. It's my project, so it's only fair that I make a contribution as well. We'd like to get to £1,000. That would pay for the reskinning of the actual metal structure underneath, and also to allow for some form of annual maintenance, just so we can keep it looking good, make sure it is a monument that we can be proud of as a county.
And as you say, as a county, our RAF heritage, that's one thing that's in our county town that says, you know, this is where the RAF made a massive contribution to the area, really.
Yeah, I mean, RAF Cottesmore was in existence for quite a number of years and saw a whole variety of different aircraft types going back decades. And obviously, sadly, Cottesmore closed in 2011-12 and now been taken over by the Army. So I think the Spitfire is a lasting legacy, if you like, of the RAF's presence in the county, in Oakham, in Rutland. So, yeah, it would be nice to sort of maintain it as a lasting memory.
So how does it work in terms of Oakham in Bloom, for instance? Because I'm fairly sure it's even been on the judging route for the In Bloom judging that happens every July.
How it works now with Oakham in Bloom, I'm not exactly sure, but initially, obviously, the team from RAF Cottesmore worked closely in conjunction with Oakham in Bloom to put it in place and help put it as it was in its former glory, but for whatever reason it seems to have fallen off the radar, so to speak, and this is just an effort to try and get it back in the public eye and get someone to sort of adopt it officially, as with the Osprey, the rowing boat, the Peacock, etc., just so we don't forget it again, because it'd be a crying shame if that was to happen.
And is there anyone, for instance, the Royal British Legion gave a grant to a project at the school, at the military school on Cottesmore. Is an organisation like that able to help, perhaps?
We would very much welcome assistance from any corner, really, to make sure we get this monument back up to how it was in its heyday. I would greatly appreciate support from whichever corner that shares a similar desire to have this memorial restored. I'd just like to thank everyone who potentially will donate towards this fantastic project. You can look on the crowdfunding page with Just Giving. If you just type in Rutland Willow Spitfire, you will find it there under my name, David Craven. Thank you.
Rutland Radio.
So year 4 of Little Genius. We've had Witham win, we've had Stamford Junior win. This year we've got Laxton Junior School winning. Can I get your names, please?
Billy,
Angus, Sienna,
and Doran.
And that quickfire round at the end, you answered so many questions.
Yeah, there's quite a lot of pressure, but I think we did well, and thank you for the support.
Well, no, thank you for coming along, and well done for being the overall winners of the competition. Did you have a favourite round at all?
Yes, probably the science and nature round.
I also like the science and nature round. I think it was the maths round.
I quite like the geography round.
Excellent, so good spread. And how does it feel, the fact that you've won the whole competition?
Amazing.
At a time in the future, you will come in, you will be on my show, and you'll see how it all works. What do you think a radio studio looks like?
No idea, probably just a small room with a chair and a microphone and a stage and a few TVs.
Yeah, you've virtually got it. Yeah, I'll see you very soon then. Well done. So what's Wednesday got for you lesson-wise? Anything interesting?
Yes, we have sport at the end of the day.
We've got a match tomorrow against Witham. So
Oh, have you?
they're here today.
So another competition.
Yes.
Witham were the first ever winners of the Little Genius back when it started 4 years ago. So Laxton v Witham. So what are you playing?
Cricket and rounders for the girls.
Brilliant. Well, good luck with that, and see you at Rutland Radio very soon.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
I haven't reached the Danube yet, if you were going to ask that question.
I was about to ask that, yes.
Mainly because I stopped an extra night here. I'm in a place called Nordlingen. I think we're about sort of 40-odd miles away from the Danube. But it was a fascinating place. Yesterday was May Day. Over here, everything closes on May Day.
Oh, really?
Everything. Shops, many cafes, hotels. If you're not already booked in, don't even try. When we last spoke, I was in Erfurt, and I had got across what's called the Thuringerwald. Previously, I'd had the experience with the Harz Mountains. Well, Thuringerwald goes up to 2,600 feet, and the climbs seem to be going on forever. But I've coped with it. That's what's surprising me all the time.
What's your mile count so far then, Brian?
925.
So you're nearly halfway then?
Yes, quite close now. Yeah, once I get to Switzerland, which I shall be in Switzerland the next time we talk.
Rutland Radio.
I'm Anne Ellis with Stamford in Bloom. I'm the coordinator for the group.
Yes, I'm Chris Isaac, the owner of Stamford Garden Centre.
And you're hosting Stamford in Bloom now. How did that come about?
Yes, well, Anne approached us a few weeks ago if we had space to accommodate their business here, and we were very keen to be associated with Stamford in Bloom, so it was it was a pleasure to have them on site.
So it's a great partnership, really, isn't it? Because I guess they obviously need local materials, and actually you showing a bit of Stamford here is great for you as well.
Oh yes, it is. It's very to have a relationship with Stamford in Bloom, as we are Stamford Garden Centre, is very important, and the symbiotic relationship will hopefully benefit everybody.
And you were doing this virtually in the street outside your house until recently.
Yes, we're delighted to get rid of all the water containers and plastic boxes and all of that to here. It's really lovely. It's not pretty, but it's what we wanted, a nice working space, and it's dry, so we can work here any time, and that's really useful because we're very often just potting things up and breaking plants up to divide them and make them more economic, really. For us, we try not to buy everything from Chris. but soil but that's the town idea was to plant more perennials than annuals, and so the chairs, when we do the chairs, they're just for the summer, really. And then sometimes if there's perennials, we take them out and save them for somewhere else in town. So we try and move things and recycle. But it's a really great place to be. It's got excellent parking and excellent coffee, and all the volunteers are happy to come up here, So it works very well.
And last year was your first year into the competition.
Yes.
You were recognised, you decorated well, really, for the first year.
Yeah, we were really delighted. Didn't expect that. I would say that we're aiming for silver again. Because if anybody watches the In Bloom programmes on television, what you have to do for gold is not what Stamford needs. I'm not building a Spitfire out of cacti. It's just, that isn't our sort of thing. So I'd be surprised if we ever get planting awards. What we get awards for is using the town and involving everybody. And now we've got the Altec guys as well coming in. It's interesting. There's so many people come from so many places, and that's what I really enjoyed, is involving the town.
And Shop Stamford as well, I know, are heavily on board.
Yes, they're committed really well, and so we've had talks with them, and they've sectioned off the town a bit. So that I talked to Jenny Fitzpatrick at the Fine Foods Cafe, and so St Mary's is doing it slightly different because they can't have chairs, and Cheney Lane we'll do with pots because they can't have chairs, and we hope that the shops in like Ironmonger Street will do what they can with their wonky surface, and hope that the chairs will be not too wonky because it's very steep in Ironmonger Street. So we'll see how it goes. But the shops have promised to take them in and look after them, and that's the main thing.
And it's 2 months and a little bit until the Day of Reckoning.
Yes, we're a bit early this year, partly because there is a photographic competition going on for the town, which the town is only being judged between June the 1st and June the 30th, and therefore the town needed to be ready for that. And so we're a bit ahead of the game. Once we've got these chairs, they will grow up and look better by the time we put them out, and then we'll concentrate on the other baskets and beds around town and persuading other people to hang their baskets up and things like that.
And it is about the whole town getting involved as well. And I guess it is a slow process. You're bound to have more people engaged with it this year because you had to kind of prove last year that it could be done.
That's true. And this year people approached me, and so that's made a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference to how much time I spend on admin, but it has made a difference that people approached, and so it's easier. Much easier this year. People are on board and want to take part and are doing their own thing, which is a nice thing. They're doing it for themselves. D Squared last year decided to do their area outside their offices at the back, so none of us saw that, but it was a place where they decided, because of In Bloom, and they'd helped us right at the beginning, that they'd have somewhere nice to sit and eat their sandwiches. So it does affect people. It's really good.
And this has been a chance for people to see some of the work that you're doing,
Yes.
some of what people can see in town this year.
Yes,
How's that
that's
been
right.
received today?
It's been lovely. We met people this morning who are involved with other villages and who have taken information through to them, watched it last year, and certainly social media makes a huge difference. People see things only yesterday and they come today, So yes, it's been really good.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio Podcast.
So it's Treasure for Treasure at Peterborough Cathedral this weekend, as we've been mentioning. Tomorrow, the gavel will be wielded by Charles Hanson. Yes, the man himself is on the show this morning. What kind of things are you expecting, actually, to be able to sell and ultimately raise money for the cathedral and for churches in the diocese?
I think it's always a pleasure to meet local people with objects which have a history, have a sentiment, have a nostalgia, and we can assess them, identify them and value them. But it's more those items which perhaps could go towards the good causes of Peterborough Cathedral and local churches, and we're inviting people to come along. Those objects which might be silver, jewellery, ceramics or glass or paintings, whatever. And if you just want to know what things are worth, come and see me, and it'll be a thrill to meet local people.
So if people actually hear how much they are worth and think, actually, it would be great for the church to be able to benefit from this, then how exactly does it work? Do they sort of leave it with you on the day?
That's it. They can leave such items with me and my firm, and they can then decide what percentage of what the object sells for that they would like to perhaps donate to the church. We're as a firm supporting the local churches and making no charges whatsoever. So whatever the objects realise, they can give all that money to the churches or a percentage of it. And we're thrilled to hopefully raise money for such good causes.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us. So there's no charge for people actually to find out whether they've got something that they'd like to sell. They can literally just bring it along.
There's no charge. Come and meet me. Come and say hello. And before we say going, gone in life, let's make a memory. And hopefully we can raise that much-needed money and keep things ticking over. And it's just great to meet local people as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
And talking of that phrase, is that what you most look forward to when you actually conducted your first auction? Going, gone?
When you can say going, gone, you know it's sold. And, of course, there are those objects which, from a letter written by Lord Nelson to a Chinese vase, we sold for £650,000 to a rare Fabergé flower, which made over £500,000. You never know what's going to come out of boxes or bags. And I think for me, it's always a thrill to meet local people.
Charles Hanson, thanks very much for joining us on Rutland Radio.
Pleasure.
Rutland Radio's best bids on the podcast.
So it's Braunston May Fair time again this bank holiday weekend. Chris Lovelock is with us from the committee who put it all together. 30 years of the Braunston May Fair. That's quite an achievement, really, and thousands, I imagine, has been raised for the village. And I know you always have a nominated charity as well, Chris.
That's right, yes.
Who are you raising money for this year, as well as the church and the village hall?
So this year it's, again, the Dove Cottage Hospice, which is one of our closest charity hospices. At least I think it's a charity hospice. You better check on that.
No, it is. It is, absolutely, yes. And they're obviously at Ridlington. Tell us, for those who haven't experienced the Braunston May Fair, it all gets underway with stalls all over the village first thing, and it just develops through the day, I suppose.
That's right, yeah, we're open from 10 in the morning. We have craft stalls in the church. There are street stalls in the street on Cedar Street. And there is a fun fair setting off. We've got live bands playing throughout the day, and a whole host of entertainment for the whole family, really.
You have the dog show as well, and the duck race as well in the afternoon.
Yeah, well, this year we've got a new dog event, which is Have a Go Dog Agility. So it's there's a little course being laid out in one of the residents' gardens. You can bring your pooch along and run around and maybe win some prizes for the best dog agility dog session. I think that's probably about £1 to have a go at that. The dog show is on at 1 o'clock. So pamper your pooch and turn up to that as well if you've got one.
And you've got the brook as well, where all the ducks have the Duck National.
Oh, that's becoming quite a famous event in
isn't
the
it?
village
Just
now.
absolutely,
Yes.
Just down from the village hall, isn't it?
Yeah, that raises quite a lot of money for the all the charities that we support. But I think all of the tickets have been sold out now, so you could be struggling if you want one. If you haven't already booked your duck, I'm sorry.
Really? You can't book them on the day?
No, you can't.
What's gone on? It must have changed since I was last there. And Chloe Potter gets the honour of being the Braunston May Queen. Now, it is, isn't it? Because actually, you know, as children then become adults and they look back over what they experienced in village life, you know, it's Chloe and her attendants around the village in the afternoon.
Yes, yeah. It's a lovely part to the day, that. Towards the end of the day, we've got the crowning of the May Queen. Then we have a parade around the village. This year we're not doing it in an open-top car, but we're going to be walking around. And after that, we've got the maypole dancing in the main part of the village.
And that's been the younger members of the community have been rehearsing solidly every Sunday to learn which way to weave and which way to step.
I think that's right,
yeah.
Yes, yeah. As I said before, you probably mentioned it, it is the 30th year of the May Fair this year. And, hopefully we will get some people who've been there for the many years in the past. We have quite a big show of old photographs, newspaper cuttings and so on that is being prepared. That'll be around the village, possibly in the village hall. But there's a good selection of historical information, which would be quite nice to see.
And your grand raffle really is very grand.
It certainly is, yeah.
That gets drawn at 4, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. We still have tickets for that, but we've got prizes for Fortnum and Mason hamper, tea for 2 at the Ritz, Stapleford Park dinner for 2 people, I think, and a whole host of other really nice prizes. So it's well worth having a go and spending a few quid on some tickets for the raffle. There'll be people around the village selling them. I think we've got the air cadets are helping with the parking in the field at the far end of the village, far end of the village from Oakham. Mm-hmm. They'll be selling tickets as well around the village. So if you haven't got any, don't worry, you can still get some.
And it is only £1 to park your car and basically free to explore the event other than that.
That's right, yeah. It's £1 for the whole day. Please don't park on the streets unless you've got a disabled badge. There will be bollards and tape out. Just appreciate it if you could use the allocated parking.
And you've got that short walk down, which it really is a short walk. You may think, I'm not walking from up there, but actually it's not that far, is it?
It's not far, no.
It's the Braunston Mayfair. It's the 30th anniversary. It runs from 10 until just gone 4 on Bank Holiday Monday. And Chris Lovelock, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you kindly. Morris dancers are coming as well.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah. And live music-wise, who have you got?
So, to kick the event off, we've got a ladies' choir called Oakham Sings. They're starting at 10 in the morning, and it's quite early, but it'd be really great if a good bunch of people could be there for that. And this is all on a street stage that one of the residents of the village has built from scratch. It's on wheels, and he's built a couple of caravans.
I'm only thinking some of the village is on a slope.
It is, actually. You're right, it's going to be propped
people going, singing as they go down the street. But anyway, so it'll be secure, I know.
It will be, yeah. And it's the launch event for a couple of his caravans. One is the street stage. Half of it folds down. It's got a canopy over it. And then the other one is a bar that's outside as well. So those are very interesting to have a look at.
Excellent. So, yeah, you start with Oakham Sings, yeah.
Yeah, Oakham Sings, that's at 10 o'clock. 10:45, we've got a band called Trigger's Broom. They're on for, let's have a look at that, about 45 minutes or so.
Yeah, who did the legendary song Rutland Rocks a while back, actually, which we did play on Rutland Radio, yeah.
Oh, you know better than me then, Rob, yes.
I know them, yes.
11:45 to 12:30, we've got Main Street Band. I've not heard them myself, but
I haven't. No, not a name I know.
No, and then the band I have heard is Rebel Soul, who are the associated with the pub in Braunston.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, and also headlined Rutland Rocks just the other weekend as well. So yeah, they're very well known.
They're a good band, yeah. 12:45 to 1:30 p.m. they're on, and then the last band of the day is at 1:45. They're a French dance band called Tourbillon. I've not heard of them either, so I'm looking forward to that indeed.
Well, I wonder, there must be like a village directory for finding these sort of things.
Oh, if you park in the car park, you're going to get a little leaflet with all of the dates and events, and there's a little map on the back of it to show you where everything is. Of course, refreshments in the village hall.
Indeed.
Cakes and teas.
Rutland Morris men as well, and women. I know they do have women in there because I saw them at the Dawn Dance earlier this week. But yes, the Rutland Morris are very much part of the day as well.
Yeah, they're doing 2 stints, 12:30 and 2 p.m. just outside the Blue Ball.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week. So if you remember the first baby Cambridge that came along, we did a kind of big build-up about Prince George and what he was going to be called and when the baby name was going to be announced and all that kind of stuff. And that was with my now wife, who's back on the show, who's doing a baby Sussex update. Now, we obviously know birth weight, we know gender, so, well, tell us what else we can expect to find out over the next 48 hours. Any clues on the name?
No clues on the name, but the bookies' favourites, James, Philip, and I think Arthur was another one as well. Prince Harry came out and said that he was very excited to be a new daddy, which was just lovely. You could tell he was a little bit jaded maybe from a night's worth of labour, but he was just in awe of what women can do in terms of having babies. So that was really nice to hear. And he did mention that in 2 days' time he'd be on another press release or press call or whatever it's called, so probably showing his newborn son off to the press, which will be very exciting. So expect some more news on Wednesday. I think they've already got a name, because he did mention that the baby was quite late, so it's probably 2 weeks overdue. So I think they're all sorted with name, but I think Granny has to get the final say as far as I'm aware, and people obviously need to be told before the general public, but I think that will come shortly.
Do you have any thoughts on what the name might be?
I do. I think they're a little bit left-wing compared to the Cambridges, just because, you know, he's now 6th in line to the throne, with his son now being 7th in line to the throne. So then they don't have to go so traditional. I think the way that they've had a home birth, as far as I'm aware, means that they're just a little bit more relaxed, shall we say, about what the name might be. I've got a feeling it'll be something quite trendy, yet traditional as well. So maybe something that can be shortened, like, I don't know, Archibald, that could be Archie. But yeah, something it will be the unexpected.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio Podcast.
My name's Elijah.
My name's Bea.
I'm Becca.
And you won the Scarecrow again. How many times is it now?
This is the second time that we've won it.
And yours was like nothing that anyone else had done. Tell us what it was and how you made it.
It was a gingerbread man made of cardboard and straw with decorations on it.
So you didn't like cut it out or anything like that, because it kind of looked a bit like that.
Yeah, we did. We got lots of bits of cardboard, stuck them together, and then drew the outline of a gingerbread man, and yeah, we cut it out.
What does it mean to actually win the Uffington Scarecrow? 2 years.
It was very lucky to win twice.
Have a lot of people said stuff to you about your design?
Yeah.
What have they said?
That it was very good.
So was it instantly, that's what you thought, let's do that?
It took a bit of thoughts of the ideas to do, but when we saw inspiration for that, we knew immediately that was the one we were going to do.
Fabulous. It was unique. You know what I mean?
Yes, no,
compared to everyone else had done, it looked kind of different to a normal Scarecrow as well.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought we'd try this year. So in the past, we've done, I guess you could say, the traditional style of Scarecrow, like a man. So this time we just thought, yeah, we'd do something completely different, and it paid off.
And how great is it for the village, actually, to do something like this?
Oh, it's brilliant. I mean, every year I think it gets bigger and bigger, but it is so exciting, and it's great to be part of something like this, and everybody mucks in, and I think it makes Uffington stand out as a village, I like to think.
Rutland Radio.
Morning.
Yes, good morning. Wow, that is a very sprightly morning.
I was just talking to Harry.
Do you mean the Duke of Sussex, Harry?
No, I wish. Wasn't he happy and natural?
He was really natural, actually, yes, totally.
Very down to earth. It's wonderful news, but then every baby is a miracle.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. As far as the name of the baby, are you prepared to speculate at all? I don't know whether you've got any sources close to the Duke and Duchess.
My sensible side says Albert Spencer Phillip.
Oh, that's good.
My other side says Chuck.
Yes.
You know, that's American, isn't it?
Yeah, named after his dad, Charles, yeah.
Yeah, Chuck Windsor.
Do you think the Queen will have her say anyway? She has to approve, I think.
I think she has to approve, but I think Harry is his own person. And I wonder if Spencer might come in after his mum.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Indeed. How was your bank holiday weekend? Did you get to go out and see anything at all?
Well, we went out for breakfast, the four of us, on Sunday morning, which was lovely. We went to London Inn, and it was that beautiful I didn't need anything till tea time. Then we went to Peterborough and moseyed round to QD, I think it was called, in Iceland.
Oh, yes, yep. And the autumn's
They're getting Slimming World meals, but I prefer fresh. I'd rather have a jacket potato than some Bombay spice thing.
Yeah.
But everybody to their own taste, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, very much so. And so you're on the...
I killed and watch Line of Duty again, because I felt I missed something. You can watch them and see something new every time. But I was surprised it was that woman.
It's an amount of people who are watching Line of Duty. I'm not at all, but loads of people are. It does seem that the big TV show at the moment.
Yes, it's finished now till the next series, isn't it?
So that woman, we'll just say that woman, that doesn't give too much away, does it?
No, I haven't given anything away. Could be any woman, couldn't it?
It could be, yes, absolutely. Lovely to talk to you as always. Have a lovely week and speak to you next Monday.
I do have a lovely week. Of course, it's Ramadan, so I'm keeping my head down.
Fair enough. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Andy Brown, I'm Head of Sustainability for Anglian Water.
And tell us about the Queen's Award and why you decided to go for it and what it did for Anglian Water in summary.
So we went for the Queen's Award back in 2014. So we were awarded a Queen's Award for Sustainable Development in April 2015. Why did we go for it? It's the kind of pinnacle of achievement for sustainability in terms of awards. So at that point in time, we were wanting to get some validation and some external endorsement that what we were doing from a sustainability point of view was credible. So for us, it wasn't about kind of expanding our business. You know, we're a water company, we're a monopoly, so it's not about that. But it was about demonstrating to our employees that we took sustainability seriously. It was about demonstrating to future employees, you know, because we're in a competitive market, that we are a responsible company. So, you know, come and work with us. But probably more than anything else, it was about demonstrating to our customers that in delivering the services that we deliver, we take sustainability incredibly seriously and we put it at the heart of what we do.
And you were saying earlier as well, it was like a turning point really that you decided to kind of put that at the heart of your business, the sustainability side.
Yeah, so we launched what we call Love Every Drop, which is our ethos really. So we don't look at sustainability separately. We've put sustainability right at the heart of our business's decision making. So we had launched that in around 2010. So when we started to think about applying for the Queen's Award, it was about 2013. And I'd just been made Head of Sustainability. It was one of the first things I looked at. And we went through the process of starting to fill out the forms. And at that point, I said, actually, I think we need to do another year. We need to put a number of projects in place. We need to get data on a number of other things. And so we held it back, which, you know, was a difficult decision for us to make, but we did it, and then we were over the moon in it was 2014, I think we were told, and then into 2015 when we actually won it. And the feedback from the judges actually was, why hadn't Anglian Water applied for this before? So our reputation in terms of our sustainability credentials was already out there. So they were really pleased that we'd finally submitted it.
And we've heard a lot about the benefits of exports to companies that trade in international markets. That's not something you do, and maybe not something that a lot of Rutland businesses do, typically.
No, so certainly for us, it wasn't about kind of expanding our business. It was about expanding our reputation and helping people, because we actually were told that we weren't as vocal as we should be about the kind of things that we were doing to improve the environment, to help our workforce and to help the communities that we work within. So for us, it was really about helping to tell that story. However, I've done a number of these events actually in the last year to try and promote the Queen's Award applications. And I've met lots and lots of businesses who genuinely say it has increased sales. It opens doors where, you know, in markets, particularly in the Middle East, I'm told, and in Japan and Asia, you know, the Queen's symbol is recognised and therefore stimulates a conversation. So they're able to use it as an entry point to talk about the innovation or the export of the goods that they've got for sale. So, although it's not what we did it for a lot of other businesses, it's incredibly beneficial.
Rutland Radio.
It's Charlie Farrow, MD of Welland Power Limited.
And as a company based over in Spalding, you use a lot from Rutland and Stamford?
Yes, we use alternators from McAlty and also from Stamford CGT in their new factory there.
And your business has grown immeasurably since you entered the Queen's Award.
Well, the business grew up to entering the Queen's Award, really. We started off really growing probably about 9 years ago when we invested in a new factory in Spalding, and sort of from there these things take a bit of time, but gradually we've grown the company to 23 million last year, so it's really successful.
And the validation of getting the Queen's Award, could you put that in a nutshell?
It's brilliant. It's just one of those things that, money can't buy you. And to be fair, in this day and age, they're sort of few and far between. The recognition, the trip to the palace, the whole experience, even down to the Lord Lieutenant. Obviously, we had the Lord Lieutenant of Lincolnshire come to us, but, the day we had a little gathering, for all the staff. Brilliant, fantastic experience all round, from being awarded it. And the whole thing lasted 6 months. And then we've got 5 years to use the award. So it's just a great, great thing, really, to win.
And the export opportunities, is yours an international company, would you say?
Yeah, 95% of everything we produce is exported. So, we export to the Far East, the Caribbean, Africa, and actually it opens up more opportunities and gives you sort of a little bit more leverage in getting into new markets. Everything is tougher these days. Sort of 30 years ago, just being British would be enough to have sold your product, but now things are very, very different, and you've actually got to compete in terms of price, availability, design. It's a whole different ballgame.
But having the award kind of gets you that open door.
Definitely, and equally, not just we generally sell through dealers, but we've taken the step. We put a Queen's Award logo on every product that goes out the door. So our products range from about, the smallest is takes about a 3.3 litre engine, going right up to a 63 litre diesel engine, and we put the Queen's Award sticker on every single one before it leaves the factory, just as a little extra selling point to the end user when they see it in our dealer's factory.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
My name is Paul Holt, and the business is Photocentric.
And tell us about the Queen's Award and what it's done for you, because I suppose out of everyone here today, you're kind of serial Queen's Award enterer and winner.
Yeah, I got my first Queen's Award 21 years ago. I noticed then what it did to the business. It changed everyone's attitude. We all had a spring in our step after getting it. So when I started my business 17 years ago now, I was determined I'd get one. I'd invented a product, and I had Jen just to sell it and see the sales go up, and then I was going to go and apply. So the years went on. I waited until we were profitable and our sales growth had got sufficient. I probably waited a bit too long, actually. And 13 years later, I applied for my first Queen's Award for Innovation. I wrote it in a couple of weekends, got it, and we sent 2 girls down, one from production and one from sales. They went down to Buckingham Palace, had a great day. Well, you do have a great day, by the way. If you get a Queen's Award, it's a lovely occasion. You can have some cake and champagne and stuff. A couple of years later, I applied for international trade, for the export of that product, and won that. And this year, I'll be applying again for innovation.
And what would you say to people who are thinking, maybe my business isn't big enough, maybe my business isn't good enough?
You need to be able to meet the criteria, and the criteria for innovation is you have to have sold it. You can't just make a product and say it's a great product and not justify it, so you have to substantiate everything. There is a substantiation with your accounts, so you have to be a proven business, but you can be very small. You could be just a few people. You don't have to be multi-million in turnover, and you don't have to have hundreds of employees.
Rutland Radio.
You heard yesterday, and maybe on Saturday as well, before they set off, 2 men from Greetham who are walking the whole of Hadrian's Wall, a whole 84 miles to raise funds for charity, but they're dressed in really heavy Roman armour. Dressed as Roman centurions, it weighs 20 kilograms. One of them is Steve Bertuzzi, and together with Steph Douglas, they're doing this challenge. So it's day 3, Steve, and a really tough day for you yesterday, you were saying.
Yeah, hi Rob. Yeah, I'm here with Steph after a couple of days of tough, I would say tougher than expected, walking from the Firth of Solway. Yeah, so it's actually been quite a full-on couple of days.
And you were saying, actually, with the costume as well, with the 20-kilogram weight, that itself is tough. But you're going to have to face a day of rain today, just like we are down here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We had a couple of showers, a few hours worth of showers on day 1 and day 2 to get us used to wearing the kit in wet weather. So we've got ponchos to keep us dry, but not the fantastic high-tech Gore-Tex, lovely, usual walking stuff that you have when you're up in the hills. But I have to say the armour in itself is proving to be a lot heavier than we expected, but we're getting fitter and stronger as we walk with it, including in the poor conditions we're expecting to see today.
So whereabouts are you at the moment, and where do you hope to head to?
Yeah, well, we're in a place called Gillsland, which is actually the real, if you like, the real part of where the Roman walls started in terms of visibility. So a fort called Burdelswald and a town called Gilsland, which is really visibly the most, I would say, significant archaeological part of the wall. And we're going to be heading all the way over to a place called Cholerford, so where a Roman fort of housesteads existed. It was the largest Roman cavalry regiment from about 2,000 years ago. Yeah, so it's going to be a walk of around about 17 miles today to get over there.
And you're raising money for the Multiple Sclerosis Society, Lodge Trust in Market Overton and the Greetham Church Roof Fund. How's that going so far? When we spoke at the weekend, you got about £4,000 already. Yeah,
that's right. We've raised about £4,000. The fantastic thing is, since we left Solway, which I hasten to know, it took us about 2 hours to get it out of Solway because of the photographs and people wanting to give us charity donations. So if you go to Steph Douglas's Facebook page, you'll see that we've got new followers that we've picked up along the way, and our Just Giving page. People have given us cash donations, and we've really achieved some significant profile. And on that, we've raised probably about 150 quid's worth of cash per day. So it's really picking up. In fact, I've got Steph who's just joined me. We're just getting our armour on now, as you call. So there's a bit of rustling going on in the background. But we I would suspect would be getting up to $4,500 worth of sponsorships in starting this adventure.
Excellent. Well, we'll let you get on your third day of 5. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with you before the end as well. That's Steph Douglas and Steve Bertucci from Greetham, who are dressed as Roman centurions, armour weighing 20 kilograms, in the rain today, walking another section of Hadrian's Wall.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio Podcast.
Rupert Fairfax, and I'm the Managing Director of Fairfax Saddles.
And tell us about the Queen's Award and why you decided actually to get involved with it.
Well, why we got involved with the Queen's Award is that the Queen's Award for Enterprise are the top business awards in the country, and they are subcategorised into innovation, global trade, and sustainable development. What we do is innovation. We spend a lot of money and time on trying to create products that are better for the horse.
And what you developed that you won the award for was actually used by Team GB in 2012 as well, exclusively.
Yes, it was. It was a girth, and basically it de-restricts the muscles on the horse and allows it to move more freely, which is really important, especially if you're a horse. And we felt that it was something that might give a little bit of a competitive edge to Team GP. So we held it off the market so that other countries couldn't get their mitts on it. And Horse and Hound very kindly described it as Team GP's secret weapon, which was pretty good news actually for us because it was a great launching pad. And then we actually launched it formally to all our retailers around the country at Barnsdale Lodge.
And you're based in this area as well. This is where the engine of the company is.
Very much so. This is a fabulous area to recruit people who are knowledgeable about equestrian issues, with all the local hunts particularly. And more than that, there's a wide range of equestrian activities that go on in Rutland. And our offices were for many years in Oakham. They're now in Stamford because that's nearer to where we live. But we very much feel as if we're Rutlanders and indeed lived in Edith Weston for over 10 years.
And in summary, the Queen's Award and what it brought to your business when you won.
Oh, well, it's a fantastic thing to have. It's internationally recognised throughout the world, and we were very honoured and very lucky to be able to receive our Queen's Award for Enterprise in Innovation. It's a great door opener around the world, definitely, and it's a great accolade for our amazing staff who do such a great job, and we won it as a company.
Rutland Radio.
Good morning, Rutland Radio.
Rob?
Yes, hello, Brian.
Good morning.
Are you at the Blue Danube or have you seen it?
I crossed the Danube on the 3rd of May, and I'm going to disappoint you. It was dark green.
Oh.
The problem I've had is snow.
Snow?
Snow,
Are you very high then where you are?
Yes, I suppose so. I was heading from Ulm down through southern Germany, down to the Bodensee, or Lake Constance, as some people call it, and then across to a place called Heiden.
So what's
Anyway,
your mile total now, and whereabouts are you?
Well, I'm in Wiesen at the moment by a lake, which is very pretty, mountains all around, all snow-covered, obviously. The mileage is 1,166.
Excellent stuff. That's in 4 weeks.
Yes. The pass that I want to use, or wanted to use, the Clausen Pass, that's closed until June. So it gives you some idea of the amount of snow that has been deposited. Someone was telling me yesterday that it was the heaviest snowfall in May they've had since 1957.
Really?
And much like the UK, they're experiencing a lot of weird weather. Normally, this time of year, everybody's in shorts and T-shirts and enjoying the sunshine.
Well, we're not enjoying the sunshine here either, Brian. It's just cloudy and wet, really, but there you go.
Yes, I know. What I'm doing now is planning a reroute. So next time I call you, I don't quite know where I'll be, but I'm sorting that out at the moment, and you'll be hearing from me in a week's time.
Speak to you next Thursday.
OK, Rob.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
Well, I don't know whether on Monday you spent any time at the Braunston May Fair. Well, it's always nice to hear how things went. Not only actually on the day, but how much money was raised for Braunston Church, for Braunston and Brook Village Hall, and also for Dove Cottage. That's where all the proceeds are going. Chris Lovelock is back with us on the phone this time to announce the grand total. Chris, if I could give you a drum roll, I would, but this is incredible.
Yes, we are amazed at the amount of support we've got and the amount of money we have raised this year. It's our highest total ever, and I think it's probably the highest number of visitors that we had. So the grand total is, drum roll, just under £10,000, and that's after the expenses that we had incurred with road closures and so on. So a huge sum for the local charities, and we're really proud of that, all of us. And we'd like to thank all of the sponsors and the publicists that have helped get the people in the village last Monday.
What an incredible total. Just under £10,000 on one day in Braunston. That's going to go down in the record books. And what a great anniversary as well. I've got a great anniversary present, 30th anniversary, and you've got the biggest ever total.
That's right, yes. Yeah, fantastic. So we've set the benchmark for the people who run the Mayfair next year. So let's see what happens there.
Are you one of them, or were you just making a guest appearance?
You know, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen next year. I think I might get press ganged in the pub again to, stay on the committee. But we shall see what happens. Yes.
And talking
if there's any volunteers in Braunston that would like to step up to the plate, I'd be most glad. Thank you.
And you've still got another fundraiser to come, which has the same beneficiaries as well.
That's right, yes. We've got a local band, Rebel Soul, playing in the Blue Ball pub in the village at about 7:30, I think it is, on the 7th of June. So tickets are on sale already from the pub. You might find them on the internet. Not quite sure about that, to be honest. But that'll be a good night because they're a great band. And if anybody was at the Mayfair and saw the street stage, they played one of the slots there in the middle of the afternoon, or early afternoon, yes.
Yes, I saw Trigger's Broom, actually, who were going down ever so well, sort of late morning, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were good. They were all good, the bands. And it was lovely to have a bit of music in the village as well. It just sort of really increased the atmosphere of what was going on. Very happy as well to see friends of mine, the Rutland Morris Men, turned up twice. They did a couple of dances. They were great fun. The crowd thoroughly enjoyed them. And thank you to everybody else who got involved and for the public who turned up to come and support us. We're really grateful for that.
Excellent, Chris. Thanks very much for joining us. Just under £10,000 made in one day in Braunston on Bank Holiday Monday. That's just brilliant news to share. Thanks for being on.
Thank you indeed. Cheerio.
Rutland Radio.
So here we are again at the end of this month. As we were mentioning, Sport Bash is back at Ketton Sports and Community Centre. I'm here with Dean Headley, who's led Sport Bash since it started. This year it is a bit different, particularly when it comes to the main game, isn't it?
Yes, we've gone away from having a Pro 11 v a local 11, and we've tried to create a little bit more competition, shorter format cricket. So we've created 4 area sides, and I've just remembered them now. They're the Huntingdonshire Stags, the Stamford Bulls, the South Links Lions, and the Rutland and Leicester Foxes. And they're captained by local players. And they've been busy scratching around getting their other 5 players to come with them, and then on the day 2 pros who I'm inviting at the moment will be picked out of a hat, and they will then join those 6 players from each side, and they'll play 2 semi-finals and a final, and we're hoping it's going to be dynamic cricket, so it's 7 overs per side and whack out the ground.
So the pros play with each of the 4 teams?
Yeah, I think it just takes that emphasis off. Even 20 overs to manufacture a good entertaining game is hard work. Whereas when you've got short format cricket, it's just go for it from the start. There is no making sure the opposition have got a reasonable total. It's just you either win or you lose.
And you've got the quick cricket in the morning as well as you have in previous years.
Yeah, BGL are sponsoring that cricket again. They've been a long-term sponsor. We'll hopefully have 16 club sides of under-9s and under-10 girls. So one team last year was a full girls team, and they did very well. As you know, girls cricket has had a massive surge over the last few years.
And you're raising money for the Matt Hampson Foundation yet again. That's kind of your long-term charity, isn't it?
It is. We support the foundation, and we have done for since the second year, really. And it's quite close to the school's heart. And it's not necessarily a school event, but the school is a partner. And we've got a couple of boys here at the school who have been helped, which is George and Seb Gould, which is both documented cases, and it touches a lot of people, and it's a very popular charity in these areas.
So it's £10 to come along. It'll be even cheaper if you book quickly as well.
Yeah, there's an online discount, so of 25%. I think if you use RR25. Use that at the checkout and you get 25% off, so it brings it down to £7.50. And all activities on the day, barring your alcoholic drink and your soft drinks, are free of charge. So everything that you see on the website will be there, and people for between 12 and 4 o'clock, those activities are open before the cricket starts.
And activity-wise, multi-sports, it's just loads of things that children will enjoy doing.
We've got inflatables, we're bringing archery, we've got a climbing wall this year, we've got a caving system where, well, maybe a couple of kids will get lost in it, but I don't know. It's a big tank and they go in, and it's supposedly like potholing. We've got Batfast cricket simulator. Yeah, there's lots to go on.
So that's Sport Bash 2019 at Ketton. It's on the 31st of May on that Friday, and just come along, I guess that's the message.
Certainly is. We're trying to just do a nice family day. It's quite expensive entertaining children in the half term, but if the weather's half decent, it's a proper day out.
Dean Headley, thanks very much for joining us on Rutland Radio.
Thanks, Phil.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
Right, my name is David Wilson, and I'm one of the shift managers with York Rescue Port.
And take us back to what happened. You got an early morning call and found the police had told you that there's someone in the river. So what do you send out in that case?
Yeah, we got the initial phone call from North Yorkshire Police saying casualty in the water, and can we respond? So I sent out a text alert over a call-out system that we use. That then alerts all of our team members to an incident, including the location that I want everyone to rendezvous at. Once we get down to a location, the team will get a brief, and this is what I want them to do. It tends to be the first couple of boat crew prepare the boat, get it ready to go, and if they're ready to go, it's great. If we haven't got a boat at the time, the foot patrol team, the foot team go out and they start searching or responding to an incident.
And what is your equipment like? Is it everything you'd like it to be?
Most of the major bits of equipment we got is second hand. It was bought 4 years ago when the charity started. At the time it was 10, 11 year old, so it's getting on a bit. The equipment we got, it's equivalent of driving around in a 15-year-old car at the moment, so it's getting on, it's getting a bit tired. It needs a lot of money spent on it to bring it back up to scratch.
And I presume that if you find someone in the water, it's cold, it's muddy, you need to respond to someone very quickly and actually make them safe and okay.
Yes, it's a rescue. So we go out with the intent on rescuing someone from the water. So we get to the location as fast as we can, and having the safety of the crew as paramount, we get the person out of the situation that they're in. We've got basic first aid skills, some of us a little bit more skills after that. If need be, we treat them and then hand them over to the other blue light services.
And why is your charity important? It obviously is a service that's not currently fulfilled by the emergency services as it currently is.
Well, we sit in the little gap. North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue do provide a rescue boat on the River Ouse. They're the primary team that get called out. There are CCTV cameras in the area. The North Yorkshire Police walk up and down the riverbank as and when they're free to do so, but there's that gap of there's no proactive patrols looking for people in trouble. It's not just people in the river, it could be mental health issues. We fill that gap. They've got the response teams in place, so we act proactive, but we can respond at the same time as a backup to blue light services.
And how often are you needed?
Last year we attended 86 incidents throughout the year, and that could be anything from a missing person search, it might be a young child, it might be someone with dementia, it could be they're just lost, to medical incidents. We've attended everything from someone falling off a bike, having a bleeding nose, to broken ankles, to a stabbing. We never know what we're going to attend. And the other one is looking out for people and assisting people by the side of the river who are in some sort of mental crisis, who've got mental health issues, down to actually rescuing someone from the water. So we fulfil that huge big gap of just general support alongside the river.
And tell us about the appeal that's underway at the moment.
After meeting with Kate and Stephen, Sonny's parents, they offered to do some fundraising for us. They had a fundraising target in mind. That fund at £45,000 would buy us a new purpose-built rescue boat for the river. The boat will be slightly longer, so we can treat people in the back of the boat, a little bit more stable for the crew that's on the boat, and a newer engine, more economical, that sort of thing. We're looking at sticking with a local supplier, so Humber Ribs, they supply our current boat.
And that will really help what you do if you got that?
Yeah, that would help in our patrols, so the Friday, Saturday night, it's a nice stable platform. When we're on the river and watching people when we respond, but it's also with extra space, we can keep extra kit on it. The fuel tanks are going to be secure, that sort of thing, and that would help us with the response times as well, because at the moment we've got to get down to the boat and then set the boat up and go. If the boat's already set up in a secure location, it speeds up our response time massively.
And really from here, I mean, with £4,000 in, is this 45,000 exclusive to this Rutland family who've lost their 19-year-old son? This is them driving that?
Yes, it's their campaign. They're set up. They're running the fund page. We're the charity that's going to be in receipt of that funds. So they are the driving force. They come up with the idea. They asked us for what could you buy with this amount of money, so we said the boat and associated equipment to go with the boat. They're the ones that's driving it. We'll support them as and when we can. If there's any major events that they're having down here in the future, we'll see if we can get some of the team members down just to do that, build that link and strengthen the support here.
Have you anything else to add, really, that we've not covered?
The main thing is just a general water safety note. It is the air temperature is warming up. Lakes around here, I know we've got Rutland water fairly close, various reservoirs, canals and rivers. The water is colder than it seems. It's not necessarily the current that will get you. It might be underwater hazards that you can't see, but it's the cold will get you first. It tends to be, river temperatures in the UK tend to be around about 12 degrees, 14 degrees. That's a warm pint of beer. If you go into a normal swimming pool that's heated, you still get that ouch moment when you go in. That's 28 degrees. So river water in the UK is equivalent to walking into a cold shower and not being able to get out. it'll take your breath away.
Rutland Radio.
So, Steph and Steve, your final day today walking Hadrian's Wall. How many miles and how tough has it been in short?
Well, by the end of today, we'll have done 84 miles, and I'll not lie to you, Rob, it's been incredibly hard. The kit it's meant for fighting, it's not meant for walking. And when you've had 20 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour winds blowing in your face, carrying a 4-foot shield, does not make it easy.
And I guess weather-wise, actually, you must have had something similar to us. I mean, we've had heavy rain here.
Oh, it almost caught us out. Day before yesterday on Wednesday, Rob, it was horrendous, and that was when we were at the most tricky part where you're climbing, you're high, you're at altitude, and you've got all that wind and all that rain and zero shelter. It was incredibly challenging, but we knuckled on down, pushed on through, and appreciated what it must have been like for the soldiers 2,000 years ago, because we had a nice hotel to walk into at the end of the day.
And you've been doing this all for charity this week for MS, also for the Lodge Trust at Market Overton and from the Greetham Church Roof Appeal. Donations still coming in?
Rob, we've been amazed every day by the generosity and the genuine excitement of the people that we meet. And we've been collecting money along the way, and we've smashed through £4,500 for our charities, which has been brilliant. But what we've realised is everyone we speak to has been touched by MS, and it's been an appreciation for us as how far-reaching and how widespread this condition is. So it made us more motivated to support it.
Lovely. Thanks very much for joining us. So how many miles left then of the 84 today?
Right, we've got 15 miles left today, and we're meeting our friends and family at Segadoonham Fort in Wallsend at 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Wonderful. Thanks very much for joining us, and thanks very much for sharing your story this week.
Wonderful, Rob. Thanks for your support.
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk. This is a download from Rutland Radio.
Hello, and thank you for downloading the Rutland Radio podcast from rutlandradio.co.uk. This is where you can hear the best bits from the last week.
So I'm Matthew Lee, and I'm the leader of South Kesteven District Council.
And we're asking everyone, but you're not standing for the European elections.
I am not standing for the European elections, nor would I want to ever, thank you.
Just talking, reflecting on the Shop Stamford meeting, the council is very much looking to be, a partner, an enabler,
yes,
to help the independent businesses, to help trade in the town, and you recognise the challenges that they have.
I absolutely do, and the council can't solve everybody's problems. And what we had tonight in Stamford was dozens and dozens of local retailers turning up saying they want to help, they want to be part of this, and I promised that the council would stand absolutely with them, and that we'll work with them and we'll improve things together. And it's an amazing response from the community here in Stamford.
Parking. You mentioned parking, that sometimes it can be a challenge, but you are looking at it and hoping to actually do something about that.
I absolutely am. I recognise that people come to Stamford, and as a visitor it's very difficult to find a car parking space right in the centre. We have a number of issues we need to resolve, both in our car parks that the District Council runs, with on-street car parking. Stamford is a hugely successful place. People want to come here. It's hugely historic. We can't knock bits down to make the roads bigger. What we have to do is make the best of all of this to make sure that there are spaces for people when they come and visit, that they're easily accessible, but also that we provide spaces for those that work here and have to park here. We need to balance all of that, and I'm determined that we will improve the situation over the coming year here in Stamford and across the district.
Highlights from the past 7 days, the Rutland Radio podcast.
I'm David Taylor, and I'm the chairman of Shop Stamford.
Sarah Sewell, the founder of Shop Stamford.
And how would you describe this evening? Packed room, so many people wanting to know how Shop Stamford can help them as retailers, I guess.
Yeah. It's really exciting to have seen so many people here. It demonstrates the community spirit that exists within Stamford, and particularly within the independent retail community. And it's an important asset to our town.
And how do you feel, Sarah, having just thought of this and driven it,
and then all these other people coming on board, and not only have you got the independent shops now, but your next step really is to get the whole town involved and being part of it.
I was overwhelmed by the room in the Crown. It was amazing. There was literally people going in through the doorway, but still listening to us, which was great, and listened the whole time. I think the presentation was neat, tidy. We explained exactly what we wanted to do, what our mission was, what we've achieved so far, and what we're going to do for Stamford, which is actually make people shop Stamford.
And describe in a nutshell what you're hoping to achieve over the next year for the town and for the retailers.
We basically want it to be busy. We've got plans for videos, discount card schemes, guides.
Little guide to Stamford.
Yeah, the little guide to Stamford, which is very, very important. But we've just got such a good community spirit now.
As I said earlier on, in the times when they talk about the assets that Stamford have and what brings people to Stamford, people talk about heritage and history and Burley and so on and so forth. They also mention the independent stores in Stamford. They're a big part of what drives our retail economy, our visitor economy. Hugely important, and we're determined to do everything we can to support them and sustain them.
Rutland Radio.
So I'm at the Danish Invader. I'm here with some of the Phoenix Bells who are performing at the Corn Exchange on Saturday. Ellie leads the Bells. How are you otherwise known?
I'm also known as Phoenix Flame, my stage name. With all the other girls, they've all got their own burlesque names. They use their burlesque persona, channel the inner divas in them.
This is kind of quite a movement, really, isn't it? How long have you been doing this, and what kind of made you get involved?
Well, I've been doing it now for a year and a half. I actually started by thinking I was coming to an exercise class, and it really does exercise you, but little did I know it was going to take off to doing shows in Doncaster, down in Peterborough. It's fantastic. All the women get on so well, and we have a great time whilst exercising.
So you're all local to Stamford?
Yeah, I'm born and bred from Stamford, which is great because we do it here at the Danish Invader in Stamford, but some of the girls are from Oakham. We have classes there and in Peterborough as well.
For burlesque, you kind of think of the whole chair and that kind of stuff. Does that kind of come into it?
Sometimes it does. There's lots of different props that can come into a dance routine, and it's always really fun learning new things.
And how would you sum up the show that you've got on Saturday?
You've just got to come and watch it. It'll blow your mind. It's just worth a watch, definitely.
Full of energy, sass. We've got fire breathing, we've got fan dancing, we've got use of chairs, we even have wings. We've got some flying, not literally flying.
Maybe soon.
Yeah, that could be coming.
Well, that's next. Yeah, absolutely. And how much is it for people to come along?
So it's there's two different ways of paying. So with the classes, you can either pay £6.50 per week, or you can block book 6 weeks, which is £30, which you can save. For show tickets, they're £15 plus a £1 booking fee, and you have to book at the Stamford Corn Exchange Theatre, or you can pay on the door, which is absolutely fine. But yeah, so got all angles covered.
Lots of fun, lots of sass,
yeah,
lots of energy,
lots
of
of
laughter.
And our comedian host, yes, Madam Violet Bababoom, is back with a vengeance. She had everybody absolutely in fits of laughter. Over 200 people there last year, and everybody, they blew the roof off with laughing and cheering and clapping. It was fantastic, brilliant atmosphere. Definitely. Yeah.
Fun,
and for some, and I don't even know how, but we've managed to raise the bar again this year, and we've got some fantastic guests in as well. We've got Phoenix Sapphire back with a new material. We've got singers, we've got the tip-top tappers, tap dancing. We've got a massive array of things going on. It's going to be fantastic.
Rutland Radio's best bits on the podcast.
It's Rutland Radio breakfast time. I'm Rob Pisani. Once again, it's the second of those May Day bank holiday weekends, and once again, it's the Eastern on the Hill Village Gala, and Tim Nicol is back with us. I just can't imagine how many years we've been talking about this grand event now.
It's been a few years, Rob. I don't want to do the arithmetic, but
no.
This is the 12th Beer Festival and 13th Gala.
And it all kicks off tomorrow night and basically goes across the bank holiday weekend with a whole variety of things.
Yes, that's right, Rob. It's quite a list of activities going from tomorrow, Thursday, through to Monday. And we kick off tomorrow with the Bluebell Beer Festival with about 36 beers and ciders, and we've got this year at least 5 local brewers coming to have a chat in the evening. So we've got a Meet the Brewer session to kick things off with.
And this whole event helps the village and every single cause attached to it.
Yes, that's right. The way we run it is that we get all of the local clubs together. We coordinate everybody's activities so that we have one big fundraising event a year. Last year we raised around £3,000 profit that was distributed to local clubs and societies, and is a major help to them to keep going throughout the year.
So summarise the weekend. I mean, Saturday afternoon we've got cricket. We have the village fete later in the weekend as well.
Yes, that's right. We have a sort of combination of music and other entertainment events, all of them designed to appeal perhaps to different groups. So we hope that over the whole weekend there's something for everybody. There's the Northern Soul event on Friday, for example, where we've got Motor City Vipers appearing, and there'll be lots of Northern Soul played on vinyl as well. On Saturday afternoon, a village cricket match. And Saturday evening, the highlight for some, I have to say, is the Easton's Got Talent, the rather bonkers display of what passes for talent in Easton, with all sorts of acts and sketches. This year we've decided, after some success last year, that we would stage a little play within the talent show, all of which is themed around old-time music hall, so we're taking people back to sort of Victorian, Edwardian times as best you can in a tent.
Yes. Greatest Showman, maybe.
Indeed.
Sunday, then?
Sunday is the big live free music festival. We've got a huge marquee in the Bluebell Gardens and stage and professional PA set up there with lighting. And we've got 7 really top-class local bands appearing from around 12:45. Money Shot Band, Jam Room, Filthy Contact, T100s, The Expletives, Last Minute Brigade, and the headliners last on will be Let There Be DC, all of which accompanied by plenty of beer and food to keep everybody happy.
And then on the Monday, it's the Village Fete Day.
Yes, that's right. We stick with the same sort of general format, but within that we've got some more bonkers activity to entertain everybody. We kick off with a pet show at 11 o'clock, and all pets are welcome to take part. And then at 12 o'clock, the Village Fete opens with all usual stalls. And we've got entertainment going on in the background from Lucy's Pop Choir at 12:15, the Dukes of Rutland at 1 o'clock. We'll have maypole dancing from Welland School of Dance later on. And then in the arena at 2:30, the inaugural Easton on the Hill horse trials.
Of course. Only just up the road from Burley. How many stars out of the 5 would you give it?
Well, I think this is going to be a 6-star event, without a doubt. I mean, the similarities with Burley horse trials probably end in the name, because no real horses will be involved in this event. It will all be down to adults dressing up in inflatable horse costumes to do the dressage. That's the Eastern Male Voice Choir Harmony on the Hill. An adult competitive cross-country race will take place on Space Hoppers, and we'll be asking kids to get involved with some mini show jumping using hobby horses and the like. So it should all be very serious and very straightforward, and a great treat for lovers of equine sport everywhere.
And if people remember Strictly Come Jousting last year, it's the madness continued, basically.
Yes, that was suitably lunatic behaviour by several members of the village and visitors in a sort of medieval jousting setting. That went down extremely well, so we've developed the idea of horsey events into the Eastern horse trials. So that'll be on Monday afternoon in the arena just outside the main marquee at the Bluebell in Easton.
Now, we've got all the events online. You've got the yellow boards to remind people around most road junctions heading towards Easton. The leaflets as well, are they available from Easton itself, from various places in the village?
Yes, the shop the Bluebell, the Extra Arms have all got the flyers. We've distributed flyers to the western half of Stamford. Flyers are also available at the Arts Centre and at Morrison's. And we've got all of the details of the event up on our own website, eastononthehill.com, in addition, of course, to the Rutland Radio What's On guide.
So it all starts tomorrow night, runs through until Bank Holiday Monday. Is the Easton on the Hill Village Gala, and Tim Nicol, lovely to see you again, and nice to know that not only you do a load of fundraising, but you do it in such a unique way.
Thank you, Rob.
Rutland Radio.
Well, thanks very much for sparing the time for us here at Rutland Radio. Can you sum things up in just a minute or two for us? I mean, there's a lot of eyes, obviously, on the royal collaboration that's happened with the Duchess, and the Queen has been to inspect that as well, I see.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I think the family turned up in a sense. I think she's really loved putting the garden together. I think anybody can see that when she's interviewed about it, and she cares about it. It's really lovely. She wants kids to garden, and it's a lovely garden. It really is.
Is there a particular trend this year at all?
It's very green, I would say, mate. So there's not masses of colour, but it's a lot of sort of gardens are quite, green but still interesting, if that makes sense. But they're calm. There's a calmness to the show, I suppose. That's what I would say.
And what about your week then? You're literally between filming, as you say. So are we going to see you on TV this week? I know you've already done the preview.
Yeah, I have, mate. Yeah, every night I think this week. Yeah, we're running around. Literally, it's chaotic. Put it that way. I'm in between stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
Just you get led from one place to the next. You're doing this, doing that, and then it all gets cut and put out on telly the same night. So it's a brilliant week, but it's rather chaotic, I would say.
And how do you feel being on the other side of things when you're seeing all the work that people have put in, and obviously seeing those golds as well, like you've won yourself 7 times?
Yeah, it's strange. I have these little moments of, shall I go back and I'm missing it? And then I talk to Mrs. Frost, and then she says, how would you find the time? And then I go back to what I'm doing at the moment,
Yeah.
But it's still. I suppose what's lovely for me is when I'm on these gardens and I'm talking about them. I've been there and I've done it, so I've got an understanding of what it actually feels like to create one of these gardens, and where it takes you, and it can take you to incredible highs. But you know what? If you're building a big one and you're on a 20-day build, emotionally you go all over the shop, and then physically, it's quite an ask, really. It really is.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on Rutland Radio. We'll let you get on, and thanks for being on. Have a great Chelsea week.
Bless you, Andrew, mate. You look after yourself. Cheers.
The weekly Rutland Radio podcast.
I'm nominating Rachel Pisani for Hero of the Week. Rachel has a chronic condition which she is overcoming daily. She's recently taken part in a local drama production, reached her target weight, and doing an amazing job volunteering at a local school and being mum to the beautiful Florence. As someone suffering with a chronic condition myself, she inspires me and gives me hope that anything is possible.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Really?
Oh, well, I don't do much, really. You help me, you should have it.
It's not about me, it's about you.
For a change. Sorry, I always make light of serious situations.
How far you've come. There you go.
It's kind of hard to believe that, 7 years ago, that literally overnight I couldn't do anything. I had a bit of a sore throat and felt a bit poorly, but as a teacher you kind of just get on with things and take your Lemsips and go to school. But when I actually couldn't physically do anything, getting dressed was like the equivalent for me of running a marathon. I'd be absolutely shattered after doing that. I even needed my parents to help me, and they moved closer to me so that they could help me. I went from being very independent to very dependent, which was a bit of a shock. I had to do self-help because there was only a certain point that the doctors could help me, because there's no real healing for this horrible thing I had, anxiety and ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. But I've sought various alternative therapies which helped to a certain level and then plateaued. But then obviously I met you, which was very nice. And that helped me to give me a bit of confidence that actually I was doing all right and it wasn't the end of the world. And then, in short, I've suddenly realised I can do a lot more than I used to be able to do. And then in January this year, I decided actually I need to lose some weight to feel better myself, because I didn't really like myself being as big as I was. It was fine. I wasn't obese, but I just wanted to feel healthier and fit into some clothes that I used to have. And also I knew my diet wasn't great, and that wasn't a very good example for Florence. So you have helped me on the journey on to becoming a lot lighter than I was, and I feel a lot better for it. So thank you. And to hear that is, am I really a hero, Rob?
Well, that's it for this week's Rutland Radio podcast. If you have any comments, you can email us via the website, rutlandradio.co.uk, and we'll have a new version on our website from Monday.
This is a download from Rutland Radio. For more information, go to rutlandradio.co.uk.